Well, I was saying, now that we're back on Twitter, I've noticed, it, you know, I'm 45 now, so I've been on the internet since the internet started, right? Like I consider myself a veteran of the internet wars.
Well, you're not really.
No, but I was
I mean,
using,
you were on there.
no, I was one of the first people on the internet. You don't even know this. Because you used to ground me and didn't know that I used to sneak a phone. You and Tom would take my phone, and I figured out I could unplug the modem and put it in the back of my computer, and I had Prodigy. Remember I had that girlfriend that catfished? I was the first person ever catfished. Like, I'm a legend on the internet. This was in 1990, like 1 or 92. Nobody had
Is
the
that
internet.
when that fat girl catfished you and you went out to meet her on a date?
Yeah. No, that's a 100% true story. We talked for 2 years on the phone because you couldn't send pictures back then.
And all you kept saying to her is, you're not fat, are you? Because I'm not attracted to fat girls.
I was so upfront the entire time. I was like, look, we have a connection. This is cool. We talk on the phone, but like, you've got to tell me what you look like, because she never would. And all she ever, this is what I knew. She goes, I was actually, I'll have you know, you seem very vain. I've been voted best eyes in the yearbook of my school, which is what a fat girl would say, because that just means that they only liked your eyes.
That's like they used to always say to me as a fat girl, you have such a pretty face.
Yeah.
You know, which means you'd be great looking as just a head.
That's exactly. She would have been fine if it was just eyes. So yeah, we decided to meet. I was 14, and we
But
met.
you kept on saying, you're not fat, are you? Because I don't like fat chicks.
I did. I'm not a dick. I'm very nice, and so
like
I was very
that's
upfront. So I go to the mall with my
Knowing
friend.
your mother's the most famous fat woman in the world.
Well, that's why I didn't want to date a fat woman. I mean, it makes perfect sense. You don't have to be Freud to figure that one out. So anyway, I go to the mall. I go to the mall to meet this girl. Her name is Brooke.
Don't say her name.
Her name is Joni Mitchelson. And so we go to the 3rd Street Promenade, and I'm there with my buddy Clay. And this is how smart I am. You didn't raise a dummy. I told my friend's mom, because I couldn't drive. I said, I had a pager, and there's payphones back in the day. I said, if I call you, she had a pager. If I do 911, you come to Arizona on 3rd and you pick me right up. She said, okay. So I go, and I'm at the mall, and all of a sudden I hear this, Jake, like this sound, and I look up on an escalator, and it's like White Lizzo on the escalator just coming down, just this gelatinous orb just floating down, and I was like, fuck! I was so mad, and I probably wasn't that nice about it. So we started walking and talking. I immediately said, I have to make a call. I went to the payphone, dialed my friend's mom, 911, and I had about 15 minutes to kill. And we were walking back, going in a couple shops, just totally ignoring her. And then Clay's mom pulled up, and I grabbed my friend and go, run! And we ran.
Horrible.
We ran out of the date. It's horrible. I feel bad about it, but it's also really fun. And jumped in the back of his mother's car. And I jumped so fast that the back door was still open and my feet were hanging out. And she squealed off with my feet hanging out of the car. And that's how I left the date. I think she didn't. I think she's still alive.
Oh my God. I think about all of it. Like I would be that fat girl. That would have happened to me. But that would have really hurt my feelings. But then you think about, well, you did say you're not fat, are you, about 100 times.
Multiple times. And if she was like, this is a deal breaker. If this is you, do you have this? And I did. I would have said, yeah, you know what? I'm not going to waste your time. Yeah, I have whatever ailment.
My mother's Roseanne Barr.
Yeah, she can't be Roseanne's son. But anyway, it was horrible. But the reason I bring this up is that I really have been on the internet since it began. Prodigy was before American Online. So I tell you, I was catfished and on the internet and in the forums before anybody. And
What has this got to do with anything?
Because now that I'm back on Twitter and you're back on Twitter, I'm noticing a pattern. And I have to say, when you're talking about brainwashed and lemmings and how scary and how divided we are as a country, I know I'm not the first person to say this, but I'm convinced 100% now that I'm back on Twitter, it is social media. That's what's doing it. You go on there, the algorithm learns what you like. Ron White said it last week.
Yeah, he
that
did
knows
say
you're
that.
hungry and it feeds you what you want to eat. And I have gone back to Twitter, right? Well, that's back when I was a Democrat, my old followers. So I'm following all these liberal pages that I wouldn't follow now on Instagram. So I'm seeing all this like anti-Trump. I'm getting mad because I've been in an echo chamber for years, right? And your Twitter, I'm sure, is very similar. But as I'm in there, I'm like, oh my God, this is like the algorithm that I've tailored over the years to avoid seeing the other side or hearing the other side's arguments. And now I'm being faced with it day to day. Like, they really believe Biden won the election. They really think Trump's a criminal. They're fine with ignoring the obvious crimes that Biden and his son are doing daily. Like, it's
They're
obvious to
fine
everybody.
with the FBI covering up for him and the DOJ
Absolutely.
covering up. They're fine with manufacturing evidence, even though they say they're Black Lives Matter and Antifa that are against the government manufacturing fake evidence to put black men in prison, 1 in 4 black men in prison. They say they're against that, but it's okay to do it if you're white, or you're Trump, or you're conservative, which means you're against child trafficking.
Right.
That's what it means.
Oh, you see,